my name's Greg and welcome back to Wargaming World and the first game of Chain of Command for 2020. For those of you who aren't already subscribers, please just take a second and have a look at the bottom right hand corner of your screen and click and subscribe. And we're going to have a game in Belgium 1940 and a game of Blitzkrieg. The game today is that the British are looking to shore up this particular station here for some serious protection and hold the Germans back. There's a minefield set as well as barbed wire. However, unfortunately, the Germans have got here quicker than the BEF have anticipated, and from this end of the board, the Germans are streaming through, and we've got a game as we need to try and see whether the BEF can hold them back long enough to get suitable support and see if they can keep the Germans from simply busting through and getting on through the defensive lines. So the Germans will be coming from this end of the board. We have German armour coming through this road, and I've already done the patrol phase, and this is where the jump off points are for the Germans. We've got the first one here, the second here, and the third just here. Now the aim of the game is to see whether the Germans can force their way through the BEF. Now we do have on this side a minefield, and we've got barbed wire here as well as entrenchments all the way along, but the Germans, there's a gap on this side to push through the board and to exit the board this side. They can also get through here possibly and go through the other side to get off the board on the other side here. Now we've got jump off points for the British. We've got one jump off point just there, we've got a second just here, and a third inside the station building here. So the advantage of the Germans, we do have some quite stringent rules for the BEF, so that means they don't get any support until they've got 2 full chain of command dice, and in addition the Germans can reduce their chain of command dice by 3 points once they have a full chain of command dice themselves. As well as doing the patrol phase earlier on, so we have the jump off points, I also rolled for the force morale, and it was a 3 for both the BEF and the Germans, so they are now starting on 9. I also rolled for the support and I got 4, which means that the Germans get an additional 6, so they have 10 to start off with, and the BEF get half of that, so they have 5. We also need to factor in the platoon rating. This is a first wave German, and therefore they have a +4 against the Durham Light Infantry, which are British regulars, which is a -1. So that difference of 5 means that in terms of support points in total, they will both have 10. I thought it might be useful just to go through the German forces that I've got in total. So it's all the options that I've got when it comes to the chain of command games in 1939, 1940, etc. And yeah, just to talk it through quite quickly. From the right, we've got the SDKFZ 251, or the Hannebag. I know in 1940 there wasn't that much of this available, but it is an option in the game. We've got then the Panzer II, and I've got 2 Panzer IVs. I also have some Panzer IIIs that I haven't painted yet. The distinction, they look very similar between the Panzer III and Panzer IV, but the Panzer IV, you can see at the bottom, has 8 wheels there, and so that's the difference when you see it on the tabletop. I've also got the SDKFZ 231, the heavy armoured car, and again one of the distinctions from the other one is that it has 8 wheels rather than 6. Okay, so some of the support options are the 7.5 centimetre anti-tank, or the infantry gun, I should say, rather than anti-tank, an infantry gun. So it's got high explosive as well, so it's a good gun to use. We've then got the medium mortar with the spotter. We've also got the 5 centimetre mortar, the small mortar that will be used on some of the forces. They come as standard. Others you have that, got to get that as a support option. There's a medic there, and we've also got the tripod machine gun. We've got the 2 senior leaders there, senior leader with an SMG as well, and then the main force. The standard force is normally either 3 or 4 infantry sections. You have the MG34 here, so it's a 3 crew team, and 6 rifles, and 1 junior leader with a submachine gun. So as I say, you'll either get 3 of those, or you'll get 4 with the first wave force. I also have a 4th one on here, and this is the only one I haven't painted myself, so it looks slightly different. All of these figures, the infantry figures here, are from Wargaming, so it's the plastic figures which give you lots of options in terms of poses, etc. I really like them, they're good. I do like metal figures, so I like the fact that in terms of the support units, they're metal, good solid figures. This 231 is actually a Solido model, so it's very heavy, very metal. I got that a long time ago in the mid-80s, so it's good to introduce it in this particular game. And the last section I haven't mentioned is one that I'm putting together at the moment, which is going to be a pioneer team. So I need a few more before that's completed, but that is the German force in the background. If we do need to have an attack in advance of the game in terms of adding a plane to it, I use this one just for a bit of fun. But yeah, that is the German force. For the Blitzkrieg game we're going to play now with the chain of command, the Germans are attacking with a first wave force, so that means that they have 4 sections. The support is going to be the Panzer II and the Hanomag, the 251, and we're also going to have an off-board barrage, so it'll be a pre-game barrage just to disturb the BEF who are waiting, and as always we've also got our 2 senior leaders. I've covered the Germans that I've got in my force with the various options that I've got. I thought I'd show the BEF2. From the far right here we've got the Matilda 2. So it's an excellent tank to use, good armour and good armour piercing as well. So yeah, good tank to have. Then we've got the Bren carrier. Further along, I've got 2 Vickers machine guns. Another support is the mortar. So it's a medium mortar. It's sort of off board. So we've got a spotter here, and I've got another option somewhere further along here as well in terms of how you want to use it. There's the 2-pounder, and again there is some additional crew. And then in terms of the standard infantry units, you're looking at 3 sections. So you've got your non-commissioned officer here, and then you've got the Bren team, which is 3 crew and 7 rifles. The HQ unit will be a senior, and it'll be a sergeant. A couple of options there, and it also comes with a mortar team, which is a really useful light mortar team, and it'll also have a boys anti-tank option You need to take a couple of rifles out of here to make that unit together. Yeah, that's the British options. I really like the figures. It's the Warlord figures, which are all metal, so they're really good heavy figures. I've painted all mine as the Durham Light Infantry, so we'll see just the markings on the side there of the shoulder. And there are some options as well. I've used Crusader miniatures as well. They're slightly different, slightly chunkier figures to use, so I like these as options as well. I think the 2-pounder was Crusader miniatures, so yeah, that's the British force. Right, for today's game we've got the Durham Light Infantry. It's a standard platoon, so we've got 3 sections. We've got the boys. We've taken 2 riflemen out there so we can set up the boys. We've got the mortar, and we've got the officers as well. But for support, we've got some minefields, which I'll show you on the actual tabletop itself. But we've got 2 unreliable French allies, and that means we've got the 75mm gun with a junior leader, and we've also got the 25mm anti-tank gun as well, giving some support. And I'm going to add in this Citroen transport, not engaged in the game, but useful to get it on the table. Always the best part of the game is the first roll, and it's the Germans. Straight away 2 chain of command dice. We've got a couple for the senior leader and a 2, but nothing for the armour to come on. I'm just going to use the 2 to bring on this section, but not with the senior leader. Right, first British phase. And double phase, 2 4s and a 1. Right, with the 1 and the 4, I'm going to see if I can bring in a mortar team and a senior leader. So first of all, how are they affected by the barrage? So 1 2 3, they can't come on. This is the mortar. It can, so the mortar comes on, and the senior leader also comes on. Right, I've got the senior leader in the station, and the mortar team here. Right. Another British phase. If you've seen previous games that I've done, you'll see that I reduce 1 dice each time from phases when you have repeat phases. So it's only 4 dice this time. And first chain of command dice, 1 and a 2. Right, nothing from that British phase. So now back to the Germans. And lots going to happen here. 1, 2 2s, a 3 and a 4. Okay, quite a lot of activity, so put the 1 and the 2 together for a 3 to bring on the Panzer II. The other 3 brought on the Hanomag, and we then had the 4 and the 2, so with the 4 I've brought in one of the senior leaders. He ordered this group to move, so that's moved away, and with the other 2 we brought in this group. British phase. No 5s, lots of stuff to do. If we want, let's have a think. Right, with the 1, the bows team are going to fire from this top window at the Hanomag right at the other end of the table. So I'll do that in a second. That's the 1, so but I'll have to roll to see if he can come on. And the mortar is already on, and that's going to fire without line of sight, but it's ordered by the senior leader, and that's going to fire on this team that's just come in here, so it's just effective rather than close range because we don't have line of sight. So let's see whether the bows can come on. Yes, it can, so it will fire. We'll do the mortar first of all, needing 5s and 6s. No, there's nothing. Okay, so we need a 5 to hit, and that's a hit. Right, 5 and 6 for both parties. We got 1 hit from the boys and none from the Germans in terms of defence. Right, let's have a look at the effect. It's a 1. Right, a 1 means that the driver panics and can't be activated in the next phase, and it's 1 point of shock there. Okay, over to the German phase again. One to the chain of command dice, and then again another good roll. 3, 2 and 2 ones. Okay, with the 3 we move the Panzer 3d6, move 6 inches and you get an additional 3, 1 inch per dice, so it's moved 9 inches forward. With the 2 and the 2 ones, used as a 4 for the senior leader, which means that we've ordered for these 2 groups to move. That moved 7 inches and this one 5. So, that's the end of the phase. Over to the British. British phase, still no 5s, so struggling for the support. So what we do with this, 2 ones, 2 3s and a 4. With the 4 we're going to have the senior leader who's in the station to get the mortar to fire. I think the senior leader does have the line of sight for this unit here, so this time it's going to be 4, 5 and 6s to hit. That's the only difference. The boys team, which is actually in the mill, going to fire again using the 1, and we're going to try and bring in a section. That section will also be in the station. We've got to roll and see whether that happens or not. So 4, 5 and 6 we can bring a section in. No we can't. Right, the mortar, 4, 5 and 6, that's 1 hit. 3, 4 will be shock, 5 and 6 will be a kill, and that's 1 kill. Is it the leader? Anything but a 1, it's not the leader. Now there are 2 teams here. There's the machine gun team and the rifle team. Now as the British player you would have the choice because it's out in the open, so we'll take 1 from the machine gun team. Now we'll fire with the boys, again firing at the 251, and it's another hit. Again, let's see how effective that is. Again, same thing, it's 1 higher for the boys team for the British. Let's have a look at the effect. That's a 4. The consequence of being hit again for the Hanomag is that it takes a second point of shock, and the 4 means that the engine is damaged, so from now on it has to move either fast or flat out, and that means it's adding 2 inches per dice roll on the move, but if it's going flat out, obviously it isn't turning, so that's where we are. German phase. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 essentially. Right, with the 2 and the 1, we're going to sort out the shock on this Hanomag. We'll come back to that in a second. We've got the 3. We're going to move with this tank and then fire at this troublesome mill, see if we can get rid of the boys team, and then we'll use the 4 down here to use the senior leader to move these 2 units further forward. First of all, with the Hanomag, with the 3 we're going to have the junior leader take the 2 points of shock off. Right, we're going to use the twin coax machine gun to fire at the boys team. We need 5s and 6s. Starts off with, and that looks like we've got 3 hits. Also rolling 1 incorrect dice as well. That's a miss. So it's 3 hits. We're in hardcover, and that's no effect. Well, the state of play in the game so far is really an advantage to the Germans. If we remember that the British need 2 full chain of command dice, and indeed that the Germans can probably reduce it by another 3 points once they have a chain of command dice. Let's have a look and see where the advance is. So on the right hand flank we've got 2 sections, 2 German sections moving along here quite nicely. We don't really have any British deployment out as yet, with the exception that we've got a boys team inside this mill here. We've got a senior leader in the station, and we've got a mortar team. But certainly as the Germans advance, we need to have a good British roll, I think, and certainly see some 5s coming out in order to try and make some kind of response. The only thing that's been quite beneficial to the BEF is that they've stopped this Hanomag so far, and yeah, let's see how the game continues. The next British phase, and there at least is 1 chain of command dice, 2 2s and a 3. Let's see if we can get this British section into the station. So we need a 4, 5 and 6 for them to come on. No, they can't. The senior leader is just going to order the mortar to fire again, leading 4 5s and 6s. That's 2 hits. And the consequence of that will be 1 kill and 1 shock to the team. And is it the leader? No, it's not. I'm going to say that the Germans are in light cover here. It doesn't make any difference in terms of the consequence because the mortar is a -1 to your save. However, if we're in light cover, we can pick which team we take this from. So I'm going to take one of the rifle members of the rifle team and also put the point of shock on the rifles. German phase, double phase, and a chain of command dice, and a 1 and 2. Right, I'm just going to have that Hanomag to move. It's +2 for each dice, so we've got 8, 11, 17 inches. Second German phase. 2 4s and a 2. 2 4s and a 2 means that I bring in the other senior leader here. The other 2 means that this group comes out, this section I should say. And then we have 2 sections over here. I have a senior leader, and the senior leader has taken a point of shock off the first group, off the first section I should say. Moved the second, and yeah, they both actually moved 3 inches further forward on the right flank. British phase. No 5s again, it's getting pretty desperate. 1 2 2s and 2 4s. Alright, I'm going to see if I can deploy a section with a junior leader here. I'll have to roll for it, and just as I have been beforehand, see if I can roll and bring out a section here also in the station. Okay, the section in the station first of all, leading 4 5s and 6s. No. And on the left flank in front of the mill, no. German phase. And that's a full chain of command dice for the Germans, and 2 1s and a 3. Germans really are flying, so that Hanomag's moved all the way up here. That's the use of the 3, and then I've used the 2 1s to move this section or squad further forward. Rolled 2d6, took the 5 off, but actually got the 6, so we've got 6 inches further forward, and really getting pretty close to the British phase. We need a good roll, and we haven't got one. In fact, it's identical to the last one. So first of all, to see, can we get this section into the station? Yes, we can. And what about the one in front of the mill? Yes, we can. So at least the British are on the table. So we'll see what the order that comes from the senior leader in a moment. Right, the Bren team are going to fire on this German unit. They're going to fire from the station there, and we're just going to have a total of the Bren team, which is 6 dice and 2 rifles. So we'll have 8. In total, and then we'll also have the mortar team fire at the same section. 5s and 6s to hit, and we've got 3 hits. Okay, so I have 2 on the rifle team. That's 1 point of shock, and 1 on the machine gun team. That's nothing. And then the mortars, or mortar, 1 hit. The effect of that is a point of shock. Again, I'll have that on the machine gun team. The thing is the German phase. That's a good roll. 1 2 2s and a 3. Right, we've got the 2 2s together to make a 4. The senior leader has moved both groups up here. So this has moved about 3 inches, and this unit has now moved, it's moving tactically, up into this particular field, and the 3 is the Hanomag, which has rolled a huge amount with 21 inches moved in total. It's had to have gone fast, so it's gone in a straight line here, so it might well stop here now with the unit getting out on it, with the light machine gun offering some support. I'm not too sure, but anyway, the Germans certainly with 1 2, 3 units moving up into this position are certainly getting close to the objective. It's a British phase, and we really need a good roll. Well, we've got a double phase, a 1 and a 2, and another 1. Right, we'll put it all together as a 4, and the senior leader, who's in the station here, will get this unit to move forward. We'll have a Bren gun and a couple of rifles fire out of the window here, and we'll also have the mortar firing. Right, we'll start with the mortar needing 4s, and that's 1 hit. So let's see the impacts of that. That's 1 point of shock. Okay, so this unit are now being fired at from the station. We've got 8 dice, so we're needing 4s to hit. Looks like lots of hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in total. Right, first of all, 3 on the machine gun team. That's 1 kill. And we have 2 on the rifle team. And that's 1 point of shock. Need to see, is it the leader? No, it's not. Now I've got the second British phase. Another 4, a 1 and a 2. Right, with the 4, we'll have much the same again. So we'll have fire from the station. We'll also have this time this unit firing and the mortar again on this unit. And with the 1, we will have this unit firing either at the tank or at the Hanomag. The last thing to do is that with the 2, we're going to see if we can bring on the final British section. So we need a 4, 5 and 6 to start off with. Yes, we can. Right, well here's the third and final British section. So they've now played their hand. We've got 2 sections here and 1 in the station. The mortar here and the boys team are in this mill. Start the firing again, this time with the mortar again. 1 hit. The impact of that is 1 point of shock. I'll actually roll for which unit it is, whether it's 1, 2, 3 is the machine gun team. It's the machine gun team who get the shock again. 4s firing from the station. We've got 8 dice needing 4s, and we have a very miserable 1 hit. 4, 5 will be shock, no impact at all. And I've got this unit firing again here at the Germans. 10 this time, again needing 4s. Certainly looks like a better roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 3 on the machine gun team. That's 1 kill, and that's that team wiped out. And on the rifles, nothing at all. Just before I remove the machine gun team, just need to check whether it's the junior leader. No, it isn't. Last thing is the effect of the team wiped out is a -1 to morale, and so the Germans go down to 8. The boys fires at the Hanomag, and that might have missed. Yeah, I'm going to say it's a miss because it's moved 21 inches, moved flat out, and a 5 is a miss. And now a German phase. 3 4s, a 3 and a 1. Right, the first 4 I've got for the senior leader with this unit, and they're going to move this squad and ideally move close enough to be near this squad here, and then remove some shock, but I'll have a look at that shortly. With the 3 and the 1, I'm going to disembark with the junior leader at the squad here, but it's going to leave a team to fire the machine gun, and they will do on that on one of the British teams shortly. I'll just determine which one that's going to be, and then looking at the 4 over here, going to move this squad and the senior leader with them. So a quick recap. We've got the senior leader has moved this squad 7 inches. We have this squad up here. The senior leader's taken off a point of shock and they're going to fire in a moment. This squad here are still moving through the wood. We have the Hanomag, and we've had part of the squad dismount, and the remainder, which is the machine gun team, are going to fire as an independent team now, and all the fire is aimed at this section here. Right, start with the Hanomag, effective range needing 5s. And that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. We've had 3 on the Bren team in light cover, so 4 5s. Is shock, 6 is a kill, that's 1 kill, 1 shock. 2 on the rifle team, 1 shock. Test. Is it the junior leader? No, it's not. Okay, we've now got the infantry, including the junior leader, who has a submachine gun, but because it's about 11 inches, that's only 2 dice. So we've got 7 in total. And we have 1, 2, 3 hits. So there's 1 on the machine gun, 2 on the rifles. Nothing on the machine gun team. And on the rifles, we have 2 points of shock. Now the British phase. Right, 2 5s for the chain of command dice, and 2 4s and a 1. Firstly, can I bring on my second British senior leader, needing a 4, 5, 6? Yes. Right, our second senior leader comes in and takes 2 points of shock off the rifle team and orders this section to move. We have a 1 with the boys team, so they're going to have a crack at the Panzer II, and then with the remaining 4 it's going to do as we have beforehand. This section is going to fire, the mortar is going to fire, and the team in the station is going to fire, all at this rifle team. Let's start with the boys team. Can it hit the Panzer II? No. Let's try the mortar. Oh, certainly 2 hits. And the impact of that is 1 kill and 1 shock. Is it the junior leader? No, it's not. 8 firing from the station, needing 4s. And again, it's just 2 hits. Rifle team is tactical, so 4 5 will be shock, 6 to kill. Nothing. So we've got 10 with the next section firing at the rifle team, needing 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hits. Same again, 4 5 shock, 6 to kill. 2 points of shock. German phase. Right, and it's the end of turn, as well as a 1 and a 3. So we have a 3 and a 1. So with the 3, we're going to get the tank here to fire high explosive into the British over here, and with the 1, we'll also have the machine gun doing the same thing into this team. Tank firing needing 4 5s and 6s. And that's 4 hits. 2 on the rifles. 3 4 will be shock. 5 6 to be kill. That's 1 kill. And on the machine gun team, same again. Again, 1 kill for each team. Before we remove the figures, is that the leader? No, it's not. From the Hanomag, needing 5s and 6s. Just 1 hit. And no effect. Final thing is the Panzer II has now moved 3 inches. A very quick recap of the game. The Germans, advancing from this end of the board, are looking to push through and get 2 units through at this end here, and they're doing pretty well so far. They have units at the end here moving to support this squad, second squad here, supported again by Hanamag, and also this particular squad, the BEF, have a defence inside the station. Got a mortar and 2 sections here, and we've also got a Bose anti-tank in this the top window of the mill. However, one of the most significant things is that the chain of command dice at the moment is that we have one for the Germans, and before the British can get any further support, they need to have 2 full chain of command dice, and with a full chain of command dice for the Germans, they can reduce the British points again back down to 1. So the support, which is some French artillery, seems some distance away. Second German phase. One more for the chain of command dice, a 4 and a 3. Alright, well with the 4 we've got a senior leader here, so there's a lot of activity we can do, but we'll start with the 3 again over here, which is the tank. High explosive again, the same target, 4, 5 and 6 to hit. That's 2 hits. Effect on the rifles, that's a kill. The effect on the machine gun, that's no effect, but is it the junior leader? Yes it is. And the effect on the junior leader, the junior leader loses 1 command initiative, and let's see the impact on that on that's a -1 to morale. The tank also moves another 5 inches. With the 4, the junior leader, senior leader I should say, has moved these 2 squads up to the line of the hedge, and this one up to that hedge, so all 3 have moved. So we move now to the British phase. 1 chain of command dice, and a 2 and 2 1s. Right, we're going to put the 2 and 2 1s together for a senior leader. It's going to be the senior leader at the back here. We're going to get the unit to fire in the station as before. We're going to withdraw this section, and we're going to move this section up into position up to the hedgerow. Okay, firing from the station, 8 dice at this unit. Close range, so needing 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Right, the unit's in soft cover and tactical, so therefore 5s and 6s. 5 for shock. Well, either way, nothing happens. German phase. For the chain of command dice, 2 4s and a 2. We've got a 2 4s and a 2, so I'm going to use the first 4 with senior leader here to move this this unit up. We've then got the 2 for this squad to move forward. With the senior leader here, we'll get the this team to move. I've got another team here, so we'll take off probably 2 points of shock, and yeah, keep them in position for the second. British phase, and we need a double phase, I think. It's not there, not a bad roll. 4 2 3s and 2 2s. Right, absolutely everything happening here. So first of all, the junior leader here will order that section to fire on this particular squad. 2 2s means that we've got our senior leader in the station. We'll order the Bren team and the rifles to fire. We'll also order the mortar to fire and this section to move. Moving right along, we'll have the junior leader for this particular section, he's only got one command, but he'll take off a point of shock. But we've got the senior leader here who will order the boys team to fire, and also with the final two command initiatives will get two of the rifles to make up a full Bren team. Right, let's start off with the mortar team. That's 2 hits. And no impact. Right, from the station, they're now firing at this new target in the open. So we need 4, 5 and 6 to start off with the hit. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. The damage is 1 kill. Let's see if it's it's the junior leader. No, it's not. The boys is going to fire at the Hanomag, and certainly hits. The boys is also firing at the side armour, so it's a 4, 5 and 6. That's 1 each. So the consequence is a 6. Let's have a look at that. That's quite a significant impact, because it's 1 point of shock, and all passengers must deploy. So the machine gun team will now get out of that Hanomag. Okay, so this section are fully withdrawn and reformed into a full Bren team behind the station, and that leaves us finally with this team. We've got a full team firing at close range on this unit. So we've got 13 dice needing 4, 5s and 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4 will be shock, and 5, 6 kills. 3 kills and 1 point of shock. Is it the junior leader? No, it's not. Junior failures. Well, 1 point for the chain of command dice again. Senior leader, and 2 1s and a 2. Right, with the 3, the tank is going to fire at the station, and the unit will keep firing out of the window. Then we're going to move over to the 1 here. This team is going to move further forward, and the senior leader here is going to order this unit to move forward at the double, looking to engage this this unit here. It's going to order this unit to move in this direction also to follow, and order this to fire first on that unit as well. First of all, the tank. Using 4, 5s and 6s, that's 3 hits. Essentially in the station they're now reduced to soft cover. So the consequence of that is 2 points of shock. Right, with the shock that they've got, there's only essentially 4 rifles firing at the British, needing 4, 5s and 6s, nobody hits. Moving at the double. Right, that's going to be 11, we'll measure from that. Right, it's going to be a bloodbath, because it's 29 for the Germans, 29 dice that is, and 21 for the British. The significant difference is that the difference in troop quality is 5, and you get 2d6 for each difference, so that's 10 to the advantage of the Germans. Right, so 29 plays 21. Start with the Germans, and just roll 10 dice, needing 5s and 6s. So we've got 2 there, 1 of each. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 with 5 6s, 7 with 5 6s. 8, 9, so that's 9 with 6 6s. And now the British. got 1, 2, 3, 4. Five, 6, 7, with 3 6s. Right, the Germans win, so we only actually leave with 1 British soldier left, so they'll certainly rout. But we've also got heavy casualties for the Germans, so we need to look at the leaders. Now, because the Germans have taken 7, we know that one of them certainly will be the leader. Question is it this senior leader? So 4, 5, 6, and it's the senior leader. It is. So let's see what happens to the senior leader. 5 means he loses a command initiative, and we roll again to see whether it's also the second wound. If we roll a 1, I think. No, so we'll say that from that, so 7 are killed. One of the wounds is the senior leader, and the other 6 are the infantry. For the British, we know that it's the leader. What happens to the leader, junior leader? They lose a command initiative. A couple of bad things still happen to the Germans. They lose a team because they lost the machine gun team, and a senior leader is also wounded. So let's do senior leader wounded first of all. 3 is a -1, and for the losing the team wiped out is also a -1. So the Germans go down to 6. The British, however, had a terrible roll. So they had a section wiped out, which is a 1. So that's a -1, and a junior leader routed also, which again is a -1. So -2 in total takes the British also down to 6. And the last part of this particular phase for the Germans is, along with that unit moving as a support, this one has now moved over the hedge and advancing towards the station. British phase. 2 3s, a 1 and a 2. Okay, going around the table with the 1, the mortar will fire on this unit. With the 2, the section, which is going to be a Bren team and a couple of rifles, they're going to fire at that too. Over here, the junior leader here just has 1 command and ordered this team to move. They moved at 3 inches. The senior leader is going to take off a point of shock with that team, order the boys team to fire, and order this team to fire at the senior leader and the junior leader here in soft cover. We'll start with the mortar, and that's a hit, and there's no effect. The Bren team and the 2 riflemen, leading 4s, and we've hit 1, 2, 3, 4. Soft cover means we've got 2 points of shock. The boys team firing at the Panzer II. That's a hit. Okay, 2 versus 2. And that's no effect. So there is a roll for no effect. Nothing happens. And finally, firing at the senior leader and junior leader, needing 4, 5s and 6 to hit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, just rolled for the senior and junior leaders. So they are both hit with the 6s. We ignore the 5, and we need to see how that's going to affect each, and indeed whether it's the senior or the junior each time. That's the senior. And the second one is the junior. So each are wounded. Let's see the consequences for each. For the first, which is the senior, it's a light wound. And the same for the junior, it's a light wound. That means both of them are now down to 1 command, but it's a bad thing for both. Okay, junior leader wounded. 5 is a -1. And now it's the senior leader wounded. And that again is a -1. So the Germans go down from a morale of 6 to 4. Well, this game is really, really close. I'll just say what the plan is for the Germans here, and just to see if they can pull it off. Now they're down to 4 on the command. The idea of this unit here is to go left to take out the mortar team, which will make an impact on the morale, and then to take this jump off point and then leave the board that way on the behind the station there. We've got this unit here, and we want to move up to these the junior and senior leader, particularly because if we can do that, then they won't be fired again independently, and again that'll impact on the morale. And then we have the unit all the way back here to support those units coming across. We've still got the Panzer II. The idea of the Panzer II would just be to go across these fields here straight away all the way to the station. But yeah, at the moment the issue of not being able to get support for the British doesn't seem to be too much of a problem. They still have 6 on their morale, so let's see if the Germans can get a good roll at this phase. Well, the first thing that's significant is that the Germans are now down to 4 dice, so let's see what we can get from that. Looks like a pretty good roll. 3 2 2s and a 1. Well, things haven't gone to plan for the Germans. A really poor roll has meant that this unit has moved up, but it's still not within 4 inches of the officers and could come under fire again next phase. This unit has moved just close enough to the team here, so we're going to have some combat in a moment. And the Panzer II fired at the station to see what it could hit, but although it's high explosive, it's only just caused 1 point of shock in the station. Right, now let's have a look and see what happens with this combat. Right, well the mortar team automatically rout, and the Germans just consolidate. Okay, so support unit routs. Bad thing, that's a -1, the British are down to 5. Right, well it means it's a British phase, and if there's ever a need for a double phase, it could be decisive, so let's see what happens. It's a chain of command dice, 2 4s, which is handy because we've got 2 senior leaders and a 1 and a 2. We'll do this in stages because we'll start with the boys firing at the Panzer II, and then with the section here, it'll fire again on these officers. So let's start with the boys. That's a hit. So armour piercing versus armour. So the consequence of that, and that's 1+ for the boys. So let's see what the consequence of that is. 3. Right, that means that the commander panics. That's what's prompted by 3. 1 point of shock, and the tank can't move in the next phase. Firing at the 2 officers, needing 4, 5 and 6 to hit. 1 2 3 4 this time, so ignore anything else, just a 6, nothing. I'm tempted here to burst the doors open and just to attack that unit, but I think instead with this senior leader, this one here, it's close enough to take shock off, so we're going to take the 2 points of shock off the Bren team, and the senior leader inside the station is going to take the 1 point of shock, and they'll order to fire. Okay, needing 4 5s and 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, needing 4 5s and 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 4 is going to be shock. 2 killed and 1 shock. Is it the leader? No, it's not. They are now pinned with a shock of 4 and 3 remaining. Okay, so it's the German phase. Back to the German phase. 2 2s and a 3. Okay, with the 3, the junior leader is going to take a point of shock off, and then they're going to move towards that jump off point. This section is going to move close enough to these two, so now they'll be covered by them, and all the way back here. We've still got another squad who can move as quickly as possible and see if they can support. Okay, so the Germans have also taken that jump off point, and I'm going to end the turn, so that means it's an automatic bad thing for the British. 1 2 3 it's a -1, 4 5 6 a -2, and it's a -2, and the British go down to 3 with their force morale. I hadn't realised that down to 3 force morale is still 4 dice for the British, so there we go. 2 1s and 2 2s. I think we might see a bit of a move from the senior leader to get the British out of this station and attack this unit. It might be all or nothing, but this is the start of turn 3. We had 2 2s and 2 1s. Whichever combination we're going to have is that this unit is going to fire at that one. The boys team will fire at the Panzer II again, and out of the front here, out of this window, the machine gun and 2 rifles will still be able to fire at that squad. So that's exactly what's going to happen. Let's start with the boys. That's a hit. So armour piercing of 2 and armour of 2. Nothing happens, and therefore let's see the consequence of that. Even though it's nothing happened, I think that's a retreat. I'll just double check. Yeah, so the Panzer II needs to reverse 6 inches, which it has done, and take another point of shock. It's now on 2. Troops still in the station, needing 4s, and that is just 2 hits out in the open. It's 1 point of shock. Okay, that team is now pinned, but we've got 12 firing at this squad. Again, needing 4s. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Light cover, and that's 2 points of shock. German phase. Alright, it's for the, we've got our 2 senior leaders can activate something, and we've also got 1 point for the chain of command dice. Well, we've got 3 4s and a 5, so the senior leader here is going to activate this unit to move forward, continue to move, and then we'll move near enough, I'm sure, to activate that team, and then further down on the flank, this senior leader has only got 1 order, but that'll be just to fire. So, yep, that'll be the move for the German phase. Right, this team have been activated. The junior leader, who has a submachine gun, can fire. It's at effective range, so it'll be 2 dice, needing 5s and 6s. They've got 2 points of shock, so we lose 1 of the rifles, and that means we'll have another 4 rifles shooting at the British there in the open. So first of all, the submachine gun needing 5 or 6. That's 2 misses. And then we have 4 rifles with 2 hits. They're in the open, so first of all we'll have 1 to the machine gun team, no effect, and to the rifles 1 point of shock. British phase, and we have another point for our chain of command dice, a 2 and a 3. Okay, with the 2, the section in the station will fire on this unit again. It's pinned, so they're going to get some better cover. And the 3 will be this unit to fire again at this unit. And the junior leader only has 1 command, so he can't take the shock off there. This unit is pinned, so effectively it's in soft cover. So again, 8 shots against it or at it, and only 2 hit. The effect, 1 kill. Is it the leader? No, it's not. Okay, we're down to 2 men and 4 shock, so they will automatically break. Right, bad thing happens. Team breaks. 6 is a -2, which takes the Germans down to 2. Right, with the unit breaking, the Germans are down to 2, and we've got the British firing again, here needing 4. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits. Right, this unit now taking 8 hits. We're in soft cover, so 4, 5 is a shock, 6 to kill. That's 1 kill and 2 points of shock. Is it the leader? No, it's not. Down to 2 dice for the Germans, and all we can do here is for 1 senior leader to be activated. Right, the senior leader here has moved this unit further forward. It's going to take a point of shock off this one and get the machine gun team to fire at the British unit in the open. MG34 needing 5s and 6s. We've got 2 hits there. 3, 4 is a shock, 5, 6 is a kill. 2 kills. Now, is it the leader? And if it is, it can only be the senior leader, so 1 or 2, and it is. No, it's not. Actually, I've made an error. I said that it was 2 dice for the Germans at the morale of 2. Actually, it isn't. It's 3 dice, so I'll roll another dice to see what command we could have had. 3 means that the unit at the front here, I think, could certainly be activated. Right, the junior leader will order this unit to fire. We've got 4 points of shock, so we have 2 rifles and a submachine gun firing at effective range. So the submachine gun first of all, up and doing, and the rifles needing 4, 5s and 6. Nothing happening. Now it is the British phase with 4 dice. So another point for the chain of command dice, and a 2 and a 3. Right, with the 2, we'll have the Brent team fire again, this time on this new team here. And with the 3, we'll have the remainder of this unit firing onto this squad here. 4, 5s and 6 to hit. And we've got 4 hits in the open, so your 4 will be shock, 5 and 6 is a kill. 1 kill, 1 shock. 9 needing 4s. 1 measly hit. And that's 1 point of shock. German phase. 2 and a 3. With a 2, this section's going to move, and see how far we can get up towards that unit. And with the 3, the junior leader is going to take 1 point of shock off the tank and then fire it at the station with the main gun. 4, 5 and 6s with the main tank. 3 hits. and that's 1 kill and 2 shock. Is it the leader? No, it's not. Now the British phase. Chain of command dice and a 1, 2, 3. With a 1, the boys team will fire again, this time at the Panzer 3. With a 3, junior leader has a single order, fires again at this unit, and this time the section are going to fire through the door and the window at this new target here. Start with the boys. That's a hit. Okay, that was close. No effect. We'll need to do a roll on the no effect. It's a 2, and it is a genuinely nothing happening. 8 dice firing from the station. 4, 5 and 6. Wow. 7 hits. 4 on the machine gun team in the open. 1 kill, 2 points of shock. 3 on the rifles. 2 kills, 1 point of shock. And the all-important question, is it the leader? No, it's not. German 3 dice. The 2 senior leaders can be activated. So let's see what happens. Right, so this senior leader is going to order the machine gun team there, and the machine gun team and the rifles here to fire at what we can still see, which is part of that section which is out in the open, and this senior leader is going to fire at the same target also. So let's see what we can get. This team first with 8 dice, needing 5s and 6s. That's 2 hits and 1 point of shock. 5 and 6 with that large unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6 hits. Units in the open. So that's 3 killed and 1 point of shock. The leader. Yes, it is. 1, 2, 3, it's the junior leader. And it is. What happens to him? 3, he's wounded again. That's the second time he's lost a wound, so he's killed. Now, in order to avoid taking a morale test, I'm going to use the chain of command dice. And had the Germans used it as their chain of command dice to reduce by 3 points, maybe things are different. But anyway, I will use it now. Okay, this unit can fire as well. It's got 5 on its shot level, but we've got 5 figures here. So it's 2 for the submachine gun, needing 5s and 6s. And then we need to deduct 2 rifles, and then we've got 2 riflemen. 5 and 6s, that's 2 hits in the open. That's a kill and a point of shock. Is it the leader? Yes, it is. And what happens to him? He has to be the senior leader. The senior leader is knocked out. 2 rifles firing. 1 hit. And another point of shock, so that's 2 in total. Now we've come right to the end, I think, because we're going to have to take a test, because the senior leader has been knocked out, but also this team are now at 2 and will automatically break. The machine gun team behind them have 2 shock, but they're not pinned as yet, but the rifle team will break. Right, senior leader wounded first of all. That's a 4, that's a -1, so the British are down to 2. Right, team breaks. If it's a 1, it's nothing. 2, 3, 4 or 5, it's -1. If it's a 6, this game's over. It's a 4, it's a -1, and the British are down to 1 dice. Right, the British have to give up a jump-off point, but that still leaves 1 in the station, and they've got 2 dice with 1 point left, and it's they've just got a 3. Okay, I've got a 3, so the only people who can operate are the this section in here. So the junior leader will get the Bren team again to fire, and it'll fire on these 2. 4, 5s and 6s. Oh, crikey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Right, that's the outcome. 1 killed and 1 point of shock. That's amazing. It's on. We got 1 man, 1 point of shock. Had it been 2, it would have broken, and we might well have had the game finished. So we could have had the Germans winning in the last phase. We could have had the British winning in this phase. But as it is, we're over to the Germans. German phase. 1 and a 3. It must be this senior leader. It's going to activate that machine gun to fire at half effect. But certainly fire with this team. That machine gun will have to fire into the station. This one, however, can still see and fire at the Bren team just next to the station. This, I'm pretty sure, is going to be decisive. Needing 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Bren team in the open. Both killed. And it's a team wiped out. The British are on 1 point for their force morale. If it's a 1 or 2, team wiped out ignores it. 3, 4, 5 or 6, the Germans win the game. It's as simple as that. And it's a 5, it's a -1, British down to 0. It's a German victory. Well, to wrap things up, the Germans have won in the closest of margins. There could have been points during the game where either side could have won just on the roll of a dice. It's been absolutely the closest game I've played. It's been a really, really enjoyable game. The purpose was for the Germans to get 2 units past this defensive position. They couldn't do that. They got close on the left-hand side here, but lost their team. And the British were really holding out inside this station. They held that very well, but unfortunately the 2 other British sections around them were lost. They had a boys team which was in the middle here, which was keeping back both the German Hanomag and also the Panzer II, but eventually the British were just worn down due to losses and some, well, unlucky dice rolls, I guess, but you know, the German forces might well see the same thing. It's been really an excellent game. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you've any thoughts, then please feel free to add some comments to the YouTube video, and hopefully we'll have another game just as good as that, but certainly a good one to start off 2020.